Witnessing the tender relationship between her son Peter and his younger sister, Selena was moved to tears. Fortunately, she captured this touching moment on video, which allowed her to share the touching scene taking place between her children with other people around the world. Selena, a 27-year-old mother living in New York, spends her days doing household chores and taking care of her family. She gets great pleasure from her role as the mother of Peter, an energetic and charming boy. In the evenings, Peter's father, despite his fatigue from the day's work, always finds time to study with him and play. However, Peter, with his inexhaustible energy, seems to be looking for even more communication. He often talks about his longing for a brother or sister, expressing his feeling of loneliness as an only child. "I wish I had a brother or sister with whom I could play so that I wouldn't be so bored and lonely," Peter often tells his parents, expressing his longing for a playmate and a companion in the family. Then, by an unexpected coincidence, Selena finds out that she is expecting another child. After passing several tests, the approval of a new family member brings great happiness to their home. Peter's excitement surpasses everyone's, as he looks forward to the arrival of a brother or sister to fill his days with general laughter and games. Subsequently, the family organizes a festive event to welcome the unborn baby and inform him of his gender. This event promises to be special for Peter, marking an important milestone on his journey from being an only child to becoming an older brother. The children's party was held in their cozy New York house, which was decorated in a bright jungle theme, complemented by lush greenery and decorated with animals, which created an atmosphere of adventure and animation. The loved ones gathered together, presented gifts and conveyed their best wishes to Selena and the baby, who was expected to join the family soon. The atmosphere was tense, especially for Peter, who was burning with impatience to find out if he would have a new brother or sister with whom he could share his discoveries. To demonstrate the gender, Selena and her husband came up with a memorable and original moment. They chose a large balloon filled with colorful confetti, blue for the boy and pink for the girl. When everyone gathered in anticipation, the choice fell on Peter, who was supposed to blow up the balloon. When he did, pink confetti fell out of him, announcing that Peter's little sister was about to be born. The hall exploded with joy, but Peter's delight shone brightest of all. He danced among the falling confetti, overjoyed at the sight of his sister, whom he would soon meet. The guests shared family happiness by participating in a celebration filled with laughter, games, and sincere conversations about the future. Selena and her husband were overwhelmed with gratitude, surrounded by loved ones and joy that their family was growing. This children's evening and gender show were dedicated to celebrating a new life and strengthening family and friendship ties so that this day would be remembered for many years to come. Over time, Peter's desire to get to know his younger sister grew. Every day he asked Selena, "When is my sister coming?" His idea of time was typical for a small child, to whom even the day seems endless. Selena explained that his sister would arrive at the right time, but to Peter, waiting a few more months seemed like an eternity. Selena felt it was important to explain to Peter that he was going to have a little sister soon, but "soon" did not mean right after Selena returned with the baby from the hospital. Peter needed to understand that it would take some time before his sister could actively play with him. Selena assured him that they would always be there for him. Despite the explanation, Peter's excitement increased every time his father walked through the door. He almost expected his sister to be by his side. Ever since Peter found out that he was going to have a sister, he vividly imagined how they would play together, swing on swings, run and exchange stories. His imagination was filled with scenes of camaraderie with a long-awaited brother or sister. However, when the baby finally came into the world, she was just a little crying baby who couldn't interact with him the way he expected. Moreover, his parents were extremely gentle with her, which reinforced his belief that his sister was still too fragile for the stormy games he imagined. From time to time, Peter was allowed to hold a bottle to help Selena feed his little sister. Despite his desire for more active pursuits, Peter was observant enough to notice her small but important successes. Day by day, his little sister grew stronger, and soon she could sit up without help. Peter felt a sense of pride and maturity, eager to take on more of the responsibilities of caring for her. Although Selena was always there to monitor their communication and prevent any accidents, his sister was still fragile, mostly crying and relying on Selena for nutrition. Selena was extremely vigilant with Peter, although she realized that she would not be able to fully protect him from the inevitable minor falls and scratches. Becoming a mother for the first time was a journey full of careful steps for her. With the arrival of her second child, her anxiety decreased somewhat, but she was still not quite ready to leave her baby in the care of an enthusiastic son. Nevertheless, Selena felt great joy watching the development of the relationship between Peter and his sister. Watching Peter try to take care of his sister was touching and funny. Selena often found herself wishing she had a camera at hand to capture these charming interactions. Every time Selena tried to capture Peter's conversation with his younger sister on camera, it seemed to her that the strangeness of these moments would disappear by the time she prepared the camera. Still, watching the growing bond between Peter and his sister gave her great joy. At first, Selena had concerns about how 3-year-old Peter, used to being the center of attention, would adjust to the presence of a new brother or sister. Being the first grandson in the family on both sides, Peter has always enjoyed the undivided love and attention of his grandparents. The family was delighted with the new addition, but feared that Peter might feel jealous or neglected due to the appearance of his sister. They carefully prepared Peter, emphasizing his important role in his sister's life, making sure that he felt involved and appreciated. These efforts were aimed at strengthening healthy sibling relationships and convincing Peter that, despite the changes, his importance in the family remains unchanged. The family tried to emphasize Peter's new status as an older brother, emphasizing his duties as a mentor and protector. He was enthusiastic about the role. Selena often noticed that Peter was standing attentively by his sister's crib, watching her sleep. When Peter was asked what he was doing, he sincerely replied that he was making sure that his sister had sweet dreams. Sometimes, hiding around the corner, Selena heard snatches of intimate conversations between Peter and his sister. He shared his big dreams with her, talked about future trips to the park, where they could run freely, without restrictions. He excitedly urged her to grow up as soon as possible so that they could start their adventures and enjoy the time spent together as playmates. These cases were a clear reflection of the strong bond that had developed between them, fueled by Peter's sincere commitment to his role as a caring and protective older brother. When his sister started sitting on her own, their communication became even more joyful. Peter, with his bright and charming personality, was able to attract his sister's attention in a special way. Whenever he entered the room, her eyes instantly found him, beaming with excitement and expectation. One of Peter's talents was the ability to make funny faces, which his sister really liked. It was these funny expressions that allowed Selena to hear her daughter's first giggles, which became a touching milestone. Peter could entertain his sister for hours with his playful antics. He was a master of arranging many puppet shows, inventing fairy tales from his stuffed toys, and his sister watched them with surprise and laughter. Sometimes he would start a game of hide-and-seek, hiding behind furniture and reappearing to his sister's enthusiastic cheers. At other times, he danced around the room, making silly exaggerated movements, while his sister watched him, clapping her hands and trying to imitate him from her place on the floor. These moments were more than just a game between siblings, they became the foundation of a deep and lasting relationship, led by Peter as a brother, filled with love, creativity, and a special ability to fill his sister's world with happiness. When her daughter was about 7 months old, Selena decided it was the right time to film her children together. At first, when the siblings were sitting side by side, there was silence, but soon a touching scene unfolded. Peter, the older brother, held out his hands in a gesture of love. His sister, feeling the warmth, clung to him, putting her little hands between herself and her brother. They froze in a gentle embrace, capturing a tender moment. After a while, the sister slowly left, leaving an unforgettable image of brotherly affection on the video. While Peter was chatting animatedly with his sister, maintaining eye contact, she was repeating his actions, creating a dialogue that seemed to be their own special language. Although their initial intimacy was over, Peter wasn't ready to let that bond weaken. With gentle words, he encouraged his sister to come back and hug her again. She moved away slightly, so it took her a little effort to bridge the gap. Jumping up like children do, she returned to Peter's arms for another warm hug, making them both happy. This exchange turned into a playful ritual. Peter realized the power of positive words by praising his sister when she came over to hug her once more. Even when she started to walk away, he was there, gently patting her on the back, encouraging her. This scene was incredibly touching for Selena, who had the opportunity to observe the unique relationship of her children by capturing this touching interaction on video. Like any mother, Selena dreamed of her children getting closer, and this strengthening of ties brought her deep satisfaction. She wasn't just watching their love, now she could share this touching moment with her husband. She also decided to post the video online so that others could see the genuine connection between Peter and his sister, spreading the joy and love of this family moment to a wider audience. In the end, Selena was overwhelmed by the flood of responses. She understood that the captured moment had a personal meaning, but she wasn't sure if it would find the same response from others. Surprisingly, the video deeply touched the audience. The sincere dialogue between Peter and his sister struck a chord with many, forcing them to share the video with friends and family. The siblings' genuine bond has overcome the digital barrier, evoking warm feelings of kinship among viewers. At first glance, Selena's video may seem like just another day in the life of two siblings. However, it was this interaction that had a profound impact. Perhaps the audience was captivated by the genuine affection between Peter and his sister, or maybe it struck a chord, because it reflected the universal desire for love, acceptance, and recognition. Regardless of why it caused such a deep response, the reaction highlighted an important truth: the most significant experiences often arise from the simplest moments. Have you been touched by the warm relationship between your brother and his younger sister? What do you think of the phrase, "blood is thicker than water"? We appreciate your point of view and encourage you to express your opinion in the comments below.